So hey guys, and welcome back. Last time we talked about the artisans, the sons of Jupiter, the bearers of the sacred fire, or as Mary Briggs likes to call them, the SPs, the sensory perceivers. Today is gonna be all about the SJs, the guardians. And if the artisans were the bearers of the sacred fire, then I would like to call the guardians the pillars of the earth. If artisans are more linked to the element of fire, then guardians are the down-to-earth people. Both types, both artisans and guardians, are concrete in their speech, and they refer to the literal meaning of words. As in, they won't be thinking about what you're trying to say. They both will take words at face value. But whereas the SPs, the sensory perceivers, have an extroverted intuition that makes them appear like very willing, like very powerful and determined human beings, the guardians share a different type of power. They too have a strong will, but instead of the will to exert themselves outwardly in the world, they want to be safeguards. They want to keep the world from interfering. And you can picture this as in the artisans are the wielders of the sword. They're out there to conquer the world. Now guardians, what do? They guard, like they hold up the shield, and that takes less effort and is more costly to the attacker. For example, if an artisan and a guardian would battle in an argument, then the artisan would try to convince the guardian of his point of view, and the guardian would just insist that no, things are as they are, and that's the way they've always been, and don't try to innovate. Because their dominant function, or their secondary function, but all guardians share this function, is introverted sensing. And what does introverted sensing do? Well, it compares the present to the past experience. They are always gathering data, factual data, and always comparing it with the past in order to see if it will work or not. But their main interest is to safeguard the past. They are the bearers of tradition, and that means they will mostly be resisting change. They will mostly be safeguarding the traditional ideals. For them, what has worked before will work in the future, and what hasn't worked before will not work in the future. They will be the ones who will tell you, hey, the wheel has been invented, you're not inventing the wheel. Okay? They are the safeguards. They are the ones who like to have things moving smoothly, and they're adepts of rules, of regulations that translate past experience into future, how do I put this? Into future action, okay? Because if you do things by the book, if you obey the rules, then the results will be predictable. They are the security-driven personality. That doesn't mean they feel insecure. That's all contraire. They feel quite secure about themselves. They feel so sure of themselves that they may oftentimes come and try to make you believe in the same stuff they do. And you may be resisting that change because what they think their traditional values, you may feel as limitations. You may feel like constraining yourself. But for them, they don't think of the traditional values of law, of order, of discipline, of right and wrong as being constraints on themselves. They happily take them on. They happily take more responsibility, but they want to be acknowledged for it. They want the due respect, they want the due reverence, and they are the first who will jump up to take new responsibility on their hands. They just relish in responsibilities. The guardians. As much responsibility as they can gather, they will want it. They will want to be the ones who bear the hardships. And they are the stoical personality. They look in this world, and for no other type is this affirmation more true. Life is sorrow. Life is pain. Inevitably, you will lose what you have. But you can safeguard it. If everything eventually dies, if everything you now have you will eventually lose, at least you can prolong the moment. And they are always looking back. That's what SI does. That's what introverting sensing does. It looks to the past, it always looks to the past, and it tries to safeguard what was good in the past. They are the masters of the lessons of history. If you need a history lesson, then by all means find a guardian, and he will undoubtedly tell you that others have tried this before and others have failed, and they will do things by the numbers. They will say, okay, you may be an innovator, okay, you may have these grand ideas, but you know what? These ideas are new. These ideas were said maybe in different words, but they were still said before you. And they will always be reminding you that just by the same means that others failed, so again shall you fail. They want you to succeed. Of course they want you to succeed, but they are doubtful that what hasn't worked in the past will work. Of course, if you manage to come with results to them, then they will adopt this new idea of yours as a part of their new tradition. But they are the stabilizers. If you have proven an idea can work, like the Industrial Revolution, okay? The Industrial Revolution worked. Well, if you have proven that that's the new way things work, they will undertake that and stabilize that and make it the mainstream. And guess what? Guardians are 70% of the population. Their goddess is the goddess Ceres from Roman mythology, or the goddess Demeter from Greek mythology. That's the harvest goddess, goddess of the earth, the eternal mother, and the lawgiver. Okay, they are very interested in law and law enforcement. They are regulators. You know, they are just what their name tells them to be. They are guardians. They are overseers. And their greatest ambition is to become executives. They long to belong. That's their greatest longing. They want to belong somewhere. And their sense of belonging is given by the obeying of rules. Yes, they will be harsh, but they will also be your pillars. You can always count on a guardian. So if you find you are of introverted sensing, if you find yourself looking to the past, you too have something in common with the guardians. For example, me as an ENFP, a champion, my least function, my almost shadow function, my fourth function is introverted sensing. Just the same as for any guardian, but for me it's not dominant. I too look to the past to see what lessons I have learned, but for them, that's the main focus of their lives. What have you learned from this? How can you make actions not to repeat the same mistakes you've made? So keep that in mind. And when you judge themselves as being maybe harsh, try to be more gentle on your guardians, because you can always count on them. And they will be the ones who have your back when everybody else has abandoned you. They may not be shiny, they may not be flashy, they may not be mushy, they may be very severe at times, but they will have your back. They are the gatekeepers, and if you manage to pass the test of time, then they will be your first supporters. They will make your name stand in history. But you have to be strong enough to endure the challenges, because they are, day by day, doing the tasks that nobody else wants to do, doing the hard and the details, of the actions. They do that. Keep that in mind when you try to judge your guardians, or when you think they're too judging or too demanding of you. For all my guardians out there, respect, and trust me, I love you.